Have you ever eaten a grapefruit like an orange? It's kind of a sour experience, which is poetic and fitting, right? Happy Thursday, everybody. It's Ptony, your friendly Catholic vlogger. I've only made it about 30 pages through the grand jury report. It's a very difficult document to read. One of the strangest things about this document is that when I look at the internet, I see a lot of angry and heartbroken people all over the place. But when I look at face-to-face life, I don't encounter that as often. Maybe it's just underneath the surface and being hidden, or maybe it's just the specific place I'm in. But it's much rarer. That just puzzles me. This scandal reminds me of a time back when I was studying to be a priest, which, by the way, was a good experience for me. But I was a legionary back when the news about Father Maciel came out, and it was hard news to hear. This is sour. But I remember feeling a little awkward because, truth be told, I wasn't that shaken up. I felt like I should be shaken up. People around me were shaken up. But I didn't feel very shaken up. I remember very clearly, though, that the first thing that the legionaries did when this all came out was go to the Pope. They said, "Holy Father, this came out about Father Maciel, and we don't know what to do. Please help us." I'm a very empathetic person, and so as I process all this stuff about the scandal, I end up in some very strange lines of thought. Most especially a recurring line of thought is, why did the people that covered these horrendous deeds do what they did? I just want to understand them. Why? Let me be clear, I don't want to understand them so that I can give them excuses. What they did is horrendous and there is no way around that. I want to understand it more like a tragedy. Like, what is the tragic flaw that led them to where they ended up? What's the little thing that they did that seemed okay but led them to cause such a repulsive heap of hurt? For various reasons, I've gone through safe environment training 5 times. 4 of those times has been with Virtus. I just want to draw out a detail that's always stuck out to me every single time I go to this training. I was trained that if I discovered evidence or anybody approached me about a case of abuse, I was legally required to report that interaction to legal authorities. And very quickly, I have had a 24-hour window to make that report. I'm not sure exactly what the wording was for all that, but I'm a little rusty. It's been a few years. But the point was very clear to me that the priority is that the legal authorities need to know. Church authorities knowing what's going on, when it comes to abuse, that's secondary. And that was counterintuitive to me. Instinctively, I would want to go tell church authorities first if these sorts of things were to come up. I've never had an encounter like this, by the way, but if it were to come up, instinctively I would want to go to church authorities first. But even though it struck me as counterintuitive, it also, especially as I reflected on it, just seemed right and appropriate. Yes, when sex abuse happens, the law really should be involved. But I think that's a new thought that wasn't common back before 2002. Before that, when these cases came up, I don't think the people in these authority positions knew how to handle them, but they still tried. And let's get this straight. Cases shouldn't come up in the first place in the sense that these horrible things shouldn't happen in the first place. But when they do, since they still do happen even in today's world, I mean, I'm on a university campus. When these cases came up, these church authorities thought they needed to handle it internally. And go figure, some of these people trying to handle things that were not really their place to handle, if you ask me at least, that all caused a lot of hurt, and we're just hearing about it today. I trust the legionaries deeply because when they were in over their head, they recognized it and they went to the Pope and they said, "We need help." And that's an important lesson for anybody who's in authority, whether that be big or small authority, it doesn't matter. Sometimes we're in over our head and it's important to ask for help. The disclaimers, these are just my thoughts. They're worth what they're worth. If they help you, praise God. If they don't help you, tell me off in the comments if you like. I'm still processing these things, quite obviously. So if you have any thoughts, let me know down below. And as always, I'm praying for you. Please pray for me. And also in this time, pray for everybody involved, especially the victims and also good and holy priests. And that's it. God bless and ciao.